Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everybody else in between, good evening and welcome back to Predicting Tranquility, the show that's putting your March Madness brackets to shame. Hold on a second. Getting a call here. Yeah, what's up? What do you mean our predictions are screwed here, too? All right, thanks for telling us. Never mind. My name is Bowsy, and I am your host for the show tonight. And of course, as always, I'm joined by my wonderful two analysts. First off, coming straight from the Iris podcast, it's Mr. Yeti. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
I am tired. Just got done with this podcast, and now I got to come over here. I had to put on the Infinity Gauntlet and do it myself, I guess. So here I am.
Literally, when I asked for a sub here, Yeti was like, "Fine, I'll do it myself" with the Thanos gift, and also making his Predicting Tranquility debut this season. Your recently inducted Hall of Fame nominee, it's Capital. Welcome to the show.
That's such a weird thing to say. It's just I can't. It's so weird.
It's weird for you. It's weirder for me. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, great to be here, Bowsy. Love casting you this week. I had to see more of you. So,
Yeah, he just had to see more of his handsome
I
face.
love
Shave this
Bowsy.
time. Yeah, but definitely it's going to be an interesting show here. Of course, if you're not aware, we're here to break down all 40 matches happening this week. All 81 teams will get some sort of spotlight, some more than others, some less than others. But it's going to be interesting to see what we decide to pick for all these scores. And browsing through these scores, there definitely are a lot of interesting ones I've seen from all three of us. But we're going to get started here, starting off with EU Harmony Group A. Mr. Yeti, take it away.
All right, we kick it off with Thunderbolt Rewind and A10 Esport, my favorite social media team. Bowsy and Capital both looking at Thunderbolt Rewind here, 4-0 and 3-1 respectively. I went with the 3-1 A10 because, quite frankly, that social media game cannot be denied. That's all I have to base it on, unfortunately. Nonetheless, going back through the group here again, we have dissent between myself and my fellow casters here. Bowsy and Cap going with Feeders United over Apollo in a close one. I went with Apollo in a close one as well, 3-2. We will see in a matchup of undefeated teams. Then we got Orthus taking on Acer. We have a 4-0 from Bowsy in favor of Orthus, but Cap and I myself went in favor of Acer with a 3-1. So a lot of disparity in this EU Group A, playing for a lot there in pretty much every matchup.
It doesn't really help that EU Harmony Group A was the first group this season of Tranquility Gaming to establish what I call a circle of suck, which is when you have Team A, which is better than Team B, which is better than Team C, which is better than Team D, which is somehow better than Team A. Take, for example, Acer, who beat Thunderbolt Rewind, who beat Orthus, who beat A10 Esports, who beat Acer last week. This pool is an absolute disaster. So it's going to be interesting to see how these sort of matches figure out. Obviously, A10 getting that big win last week. And Acer, honestly, the reason I chose 4-0 for Orthus is because Acer is such an unpredictable beast. And honestly, they could literally win this match or lose this match. It really is anywhere. They've never had their full roster in every single match they've played. It's always 4 people who are missing. It's always different 4 people compared to every single week. I don't know how the heck this team is the way they are, but still, it's going to be interesting to watch EU Harmony Group A next week. And obviously, definitely the close one, Fears United versus Apollo. That's a match to watch this week here in Group A. But enough of EU Harmony Group A. Now it's time to move over to EU Harmony Group B. Capital, take it away.
Yeah, so off the bat, Hellhounds versus Frequency. All of us going for Hellhounds here. Hellhounds looking to dominate to get this 2-3 win. Then we want to pay to win, where we all do have pay to win winning. Yeti with 3-1, whereas Bowsy and I have 3-2s. And lastly, the marquee matchup for EU Scrimbucks, at least, to finish up this pool strong, 4-0. We all have EU Scrimbucks 4-0. They look so strong in the Harmony tier. They are the favorites right now. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. I mean, nothing else you can say about it.
There really is like no disparity between that team being as good as they are right now. So definitely a really good like showing thus far from EU Scrimbucks. They definitely are one of the top teams right now. And it's interesting that we all decided to choose the same teams. Honestly, if you had to pick any sort of team you feel like that could upset this group, which one would it be? And I think I would know both of your answers right now.
To upset EU Scrimbucks
or like no, just to be an upset win in general, like to be an upset in general here. Or like just be an upset pick? Because obviously we all think the same.
I think Venice Vipers and Pay to Win. I wouldn't call it an upset. I think it could be really go either way, as we both said 3-2. But I would definitely take Frequency over against Hellhounds rather than double goal against EU Scrimbucks. I think they're closer.
Okay, definitely interesting. And yeah, I was thinking like the best match here that could be an upset is Pay to Win versus Venice Vipers. Both of those teams look really good and both have a history with EU Scrimbucks. Pay to Win is the only team that has taken maps off of EU Scrimbucks all season. Venice Vipers was the preseason preseason runner-up. So definitely really close between those teams. Going to be interesting to see how EU Harmony Group B shapes up. But now back across the pond we go, back over here to North America, and we're going to start off with NA Harmony RMA here. Starting off, we have the Fighting Potatoes versus Chrysalis. Capital and Mr. Yeti predicting a 3-1 victory for the Fighting Potatoes. I don't think there's any bias there, but, you know, anything could happen. But I'm predicting Chrysalis to win, albeit Fighting Potatoes do take 2 maps off of them. Next up is, I think, the match we're all looking forward to, and that's Koala Kings versus Strix, the battle between the 2 titans here in Harmony RMA. Me and Mr. Yeti both predicting Strix to get the perfect Sage 1 here, while Capital going for the Koala Kings. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. And in our final match here in Harmony RMA is Nemesis versus Shake and Bake. Me and Capital both predicting a full-on sweep for Nemesis, but Mr. Yeti going for the 3-2 victory for Shake and Bake to get their second win of the season. So these are definitely very interesting sort of predictions here, and I'm interested to hear. Definitely, Yeti, I know why I picked Koala Kings over Strix. Why did you pick Koala King or Strix over Koala Kings? You know what I mean?
Why did I pick Strix over Koala Kings? I think when I look at Koala Kings roster, I see inconsistencies. They're still trying to figure things out at times. I feel like Strix has things figured out right now. I think the ceiling is higher for Koala Kings down the line. But I do think that as of right now, I think Strix is a slight favorite over Koala as it currently sits. Now, will that stay? Will that come to fruition? I don't know. This one's really close. I feel like you could kind of flip a coin on this match. So you can see it go either way. But I think Strix is going to just barely squeak this out. But I'm telling you, do not sleep on Shake and Bake. Do not sleep on Shake and Bake. The only reason why I picked that is because I feel like Nemesis, they don't have a whole lot to play for. I feel like they're going to come in. They're going to sneak one over Nemesis here. That's my theory right now.
I'm gonna continue to sleep.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Koala Kings versus Strix is the matchup to watch, because this is going to be a battle between like a lot of big superstars. Definitely in the off-tank position, you have Matt versus... Why am I forgetting their name? I shouldn't have forgotten their name. I had this ready. I had it ready pretty much, but it's going to be the battle between Matt and it's going to be the battle between the off tanks and also battle between the DPS, because PvB and Noct, I think, are 2 of the strongest DPS in Harmony tier right now. Noct is a really good flex DPS. PvB is a really good hit scan DPS. And, you know, definitely going to be interesting to see that goes. Also, Koala Kings recently added Humphreys to their roster, which I believe he's on for DPS. And also, they recently added a new tank player to their roster. User Intel ended up leaving the team, and they ended up recruiting. Let me get this real quick.
Rocket.
I know that. Thank you, Rocket. This guy's a rocket right here, being able to tell me exactly who it is right away. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see that match, and Shake and Bake versus Nemesis also be an interesting match. But that's gonna do it here for NA Harmony RMA. Now moving on to RMB, Mr. Yeti, take it away.
So RMB, first, if you have Frostbloom taking on F972, a battle of 1 and 3 teams. Myself and Bowsy both saw it being 3-1 in favor of F972, with a little dissent from Cap going 3-1 for Frostbloom. We had Boop taking on Big Bang Buccaneers. Fun fact about this match, Boop reverse swept the Big Bang Buccaneers out of the playoff last season. I remember it because I was playing for the Big Bang Buccaneers last season. So Big Bang Buccaneers gets a Big Bang revenge this season with 4-0s across the board. Next match, really one of the biggest of the stage, Luminous Foxes are taking on the Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I personally went 3-1 in favor of Luminous. Both Cap and Bowsy are leaning in the favor of Rubber Duckies. You know, this match right here, from my perspective, when I look at it, I see Luminous just being a little bit more consistent than Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. Cap, you went 3-1 here though.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest reason I went 3-1 here, I thought it was going to be a bit of an upset pick. I was thinking, why not make this pool more fun? Why don't we have 3 4-1 teams? I think that makes sense. Add a little circle of suck, like Luminous Foxes, Big Bang Buccaneers, Fire with the Rubber Duckies. I think they're all around that same level. I think it'll add a little bit of spice. I think it'll add a little bit of rivalry. I think these three teams are going to be playing each other late into the season. So, I mean, I went Fire Breathing Rubber Duckies. I think they're going to bounce back after a tough loss to Big Bang Buccaneers last week, I'm pretty sure. And Luminous Foxes kind of had a cakewalk last week, so I think they're coming a bit overzealous.
Yeah, I also picked FBRD here because I believe, according to Intel, they were not prepared for that Big Bang Buccaneers match. So I feel like we haven't seen them technically in their full potential. We did see really good performance from FBRD last week, but it's gonna be interesting to see how they fare up against Luminous. If they are prepared for this match, I feel like they will win it. If not, Luminous might be able to take an upset. Definitely interesting. Also, Capital, the only person on this desk predicting Frostbloom to beat Fahrenheit. Your thoughts on that?
Frostbloom, they get the pedigree, they get the org behind them. For Fahrenheit, I mean, last season didn't do great. I know it's a very different team, obviously. I haven't done as much research into Harmony tier as I have previous seasons, as I'm not helping out as much. But I mean, I think Frostbloom definitely has the potential to beat them. I think it'll be a really, really close match. But I went Frostbloom. I mean, overall.
Fair. Overall, it's going to be interesting to see how those two teams fare it out. Obviously, they're looking for that second win. But now we move on to North American Harmony Indigo A here. Capital, take it away.
Yeah, so for this pool, we start off with the Steam versus Frost Nova game. All of us have Frost Nova, yet giving a map to Steam. Steam's having a rough start to the stage. Then Turbo Throwers versus Gehana Gatekeepers. Yeti has a 4-0 in favor of the Turbo Throwers, while me and Bowsy are giving wins to Gehana Gatekeepers. And last of all, Amateur Professionals versus Squall, and we all are in a decisive 4-0 for Amateur Professionals. And yeah, so the biggest thing there, I think, is AP looking really, really strong, but arguably the pool is a bit weaker, I believe, compared to other pools. Squall actually starting off the season really strong, kind of fell off a bit more later on, but those 2 wins at the beginning of the season really was been great. And to see, and then Frost Nova, I mean, they have one loss, so I mean, got to be looking out for Frost Nova, who's obviously did really well last season and probably will continue to do well as the season progresses.
And that one loss was to Amateur Professionals as well, and that was in week 1. So Frost Nova being able to rebound from that. Haven't dropped the map thus far, but I feel like Yeti, I am going to agree with your pick here with the 1-3. I could see that happening because Steam is the only team in this group that has not been swept yet, but they're also the team that somehow has 2 draws this season. How this is the only team that has drawn twice so far is beyond my understanding. But it's a very interesting stat to there. Also, Yeti going for the Turbo Throwers upset over the Gehenna Gatekeepers. Your thoughts on that?
You know, I look at Turbo Throwers. They're a team who dealt with some drama early on. I see Gehenna right now dealing with their own internal issues. I think that's a sign that Turbo Throwers are going to overcome them this week. Gehenna's trying to get some things sorted out right now. So I think that, when I look at what Gehenna is doing, I think they will bounce back by stage 2. But I think just because of where they're at today, I feel like Turbo Throwers are more equipped and ready to take on this match this week.
All right. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how those 2 teams work it out. Obviously, I can say Turbo Throwers definitely surprised me last week and definitely did a good job getting that win over Steam. So definitely going to be interesting to see these matches pan out. But now we move over to the next group and the final group here in North American Harmony Division, and that is Harmony Indigo B. Starting off with Jersey Boys versus Doodles, which is pairing up to be an interesting match. Both me and Yeti going in favor of Jersey Boys 3-1, but Capital thinking Doodles will get a 3-2 victory. Interesting. Next up is Wildfire versus 3.5. Both winless teams looking for their first win in stage number 1. All of us here on the desk thinking that Wildfire will be the one getting that 3-1. And then finally, our final match here in Indigo B is Geometric versus Galactic Penguins. Right now, me and Yeti think it's going to be Galactic Penguins taking it 4-0 and 3-1 respectively. But again, Capital saying Geometric is going to win in a map 5. Capital, there's obviously an outlier here, and we need to address the elephant in the room.
Okay, I love Jersey Boys. I just want to put that out there before anything else is said. Jersey Boys, love them. Never had a hot mic about them. Love them. So the biggest thing that I would say is, I mean, Jersey Boys, they're popping off right now. Doodle's always been a really, really strong team, though. I think when they've been here, they have been surprisingly strong to like a lot of people, and they run some weird stuff. I've played lots of teams. I've played Jersey Boys and Doodles lots of times, or coached against them lots of times. And I think Doodles just match up really well against what Jersey Boys wants to do. As I looked into the this season, again, Doodles runs a lot more of that spammy, and Jersey Boys really wants to run that brawl with Godzilla. Godzilla is an amazing main tank, obviously. So I think matchup-wise, Jersey Boys is like a bit on that disadvantage, but I definitely can see them making this really, really close. So I think overall, Jersey Boys is the better team. I think they can go farther right now. I think they have a higher ceiling, but I do think Doodles is more of that matchup benefit in this one. And then the other one that I was looking at was Geometric versus Galactic Penguins. I don't think Galactic Penguins is like that good. I think compared to Geometric, I think Geometric is like, and this is like weird to say, but I think Geometric has kind of had some like weird inconsistencies. But if they bring their A game, I think I definitely see them beating Galactic Penguins. And Galactic Penguins is like, again, also pretty much very similar to that, whereas they're very like high highs, low lows. And I think Geometric is going to catch them.
Okay, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how these matches go out. Very good descriptions for both of them. And honestly, Doodles is the most unpredictable team. I'm pretty sure I've never gotten a Doodle prediction right this entire season because they are so unpredictable and I cannot predict them. This is literally the Chengdu Hunters of Harmony tier, and that is hard to accomplish because it's Harmony tier. But that's going to be enough for Harmony. Indigo B, definitely a lot of interesting scores there. But now we're going to be heading into a little bit of Discord. Literally, we're going to the Discord tier next. Mr. Yeti, take it away with NA Discord RMA.
NA Discord RMA, you got starting off Renegades taking on Domination. 1-3 is the way Bowsy and I see it, but Cap predicts an upset here. Renegades taking down Domination 3-2. Going to Firefight versus Storybook Heroes. Bowsy thinks it'll be close. Capital and I do not. Bowsy's got a 3-2 for Firefight against Storybook Heroes, and Cap and I got a 4-0 for Firefight. Firefight's had a bit of an up-down stage, so I think this is the time where they finally get a good, solid, strong W here, and I think this is the one where they do it for sure. And then Monarch taking on Valkyrie, really a tale of teams on complete opposite ends of the spectrum and how well this stage has gone. And I think all of us agree Valkyrie, pretty clear 4-0 favorite against Monarch here, Bowsy.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the clearest match here. Now, for record, Firefight versus Storybook Heroes. I like Storybook Heroes a lot, and I think I've been seeing a lot of good progression from them. Even when they were up against like some of the tougher teams like Domination and Valkyrie, they still put up good competition. Yes, I know last week, when it up against Valkyrie, they did win the third map because Valkyrie's off tank unfortunately disconnected in the middle of the match and could not come back. That's why they got that map win. But still, I think Storybook Heroes is a really good team, and I honestly could see them making a run through the elimination pool. And honestly, I could see them taking maps off of Firefight. Capital, however, again, the elephant in the room. Renegades over Domination. Please explain.
I'm a huge Renegades fan. I love Renegades. Renegades is my team right now. The biggest thing that I noticed was, okay, they started off the stage against Valkyrie. They did play Valkyrie pretty close from what I remember. They've had some wins, and then last week they were in a map 5 against Firefight and had a lot of disconnects there. I know there's a lot of issues. It was really, really crazy, unfortunate from what I saw. And then I think I've had this one circled on my calendar for a few weeks now. I was talking with some of my buds on Steel Team's buds about this match. Like 2 weeks ago, how Domination versus Renegades would be like to decide the A pool. I mean, I think Renegades is a really put together team. I think they definitely can steal one off Domination. And I think they will. Honestly, I think I'm on that Renegades train right now. So
yeah, honestly, I can't complain with Renegades. They have been doing really good this season. But I look at their record and I see, let's see, their first week was against Storybook Heroes 4-0, Valkyrie 3-2. They lost 3-2 at least. Monarch 4-0. Firefight lost 3-2.
With a disconnect in that map 5 against
With
Firefight.
the disconnect, they could have won that series. Domination, I think you see where I'm getting at here, and I'm scared that Capital might actually be right here. Please, please, almighty God. But still, it's going to be interesting to see these sort of matches play out here in Discord Orem A. But enough of Orem A. Now it's time to head over to Orem B. Capital, take it away.
Yeah, so for RMB, this is a the pool that really splits itself in half here. So Regicide versus Oath, two teams really looking to get on the board here. Me and Yeti both have a 3-1 for Regicide. Bowsy with a 3-2 for Regicide. Pretty similar all there. Then we have Cosmic Castaways versus Drakes. I have Cosmic Castaways beating them 3-1, whereas Yeti and Bowsy have them beating 4-0. And then I believe that is Frost Surge against Kawaka Queens.
Correct.
Me and Bowsy have 3-1s again over Frost Surge, and Yeti believes it'll be a 4-0 for Kawaka. So we all chose the same winners every time. I went a bit more safe with those 3-1s, but I mean, I think this is a pretty chalk pool.
This definitely is a really chalk pool, and really I like these sort of matches. I'll be honest, Oath versus Regicide had me thinking for a while, because both of these teams, obviously, they've been winless all season, and both have shown either strengths and weaknesses, but I ended up going for Regicide, considering they seem to be the more consistent of the two. But it's going to be interesting to see these sort of matches play out and how well these teams go. Definitely very interesting scores here, and any match can go either way, but now, away from Orem B, and now it's time to enter what many people refer to here as the Group of Death. NA Discord Indigo A, and I have one player here that can definitely verify it all the way down there at the bottom there. But starting off with our first match, which is Inferno Foxes versus Rift. This was a bold prediction by me, but I'm surprised everyone else went for it. Everyone here on the desk in favor of Rift over the Inferno Foxes. Capital and Yeti think Inferno Foxes will get a map. I do not. I think it's going to be a clean sweep. Next up is Joey Esports versus Rampaging Inferno. And again, everyone on the desk in favor of Joey Esports. Except everyone has the same score, 4-0. I'm just scared that Joey Esports will give a pity map over to Rampaging Inferno, considering they did that last week. Navino. And now heading on to our final match here, which is SEAL Team Spuds versus Ragnarok Fenrir. And everyone on the desk as well saying 3-1 in favor of SEAL Team Spuds. We really think SEAL Team Spuds is not going to get a sweep, which, to be honest, seems to be the trend this season for the SEAL Team.
It's impossible.
Okay. Let me give a bit of
back. It's not just this cap. No. It's not just this season. You weren't here last season. It was the same problem last season.
I was on the team last season. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and clearly you've made a big difference because we still can't win for.
Okay. Let me tell you this right now. LCS disconnected in the Inferno Foxes game. We lost 3-1 that game. That cage road map was very close with the main tank.
It's
Rift,
a legit.
They went to who chooses Numbani? Okay. Now we're going Ragnarok Fenrir. We're going. I want to change my prediction. I almost went 4-0 for confidence. We will 4-0. The 3-1 curse will be broken. I promise you. If I don't, I will donate $50 to charity. If we don't 4-0.
I kind of
Boof. I hope you got that.
I kind of want you to 3-1 now. Like
if we 4-0, we'll also donate $50 to charity. But
so
either way, yes, but we will 4-0. Guarantee it.
Boof, I hope you're in the chat. You can change Capital's prediction on that.
Will be a 4-0. I promise.
Okay.
That is a Capital
holding up his
guarantee.
Promise. All right. Well, if you get that wrong,
it's gonna be a 3-2 now, because I said that. But at least it's not a 3-1.
You kept your promise. If it's not a 4-0, then you have to donate $50 to charity. So
I'll donate $50 anyways.
Okay, fair. You know what? It's always good. Speaking of donating to charity, you see it right down there. Please donate. We are going to be donating all the way for event week. And also get your content creator 1v1s in. You know, if you want to bash Capital for the fact that he thinks he's going to 4-0 SEAL Team Spuds, all those Ragnarok members in the chat, come on. You know you want to. But
I can talk on Twitch.
Moving on to Discord Indigo B. Mr. Yeti, please take us away from this madness.
There's nothing that can save us at this point. We're all doomed. Let's go to Indigo B, though. Indigo B, you got Hammerhead after the big surprise last week, taking on Poseidon. Hammerhead, everybody predicting a 4-0. We're suddenly all believers in Hammerhead. And I'm going to skip a line here because I'm not going to skip a line. We'll just go past it really quick. Big match, Space Created, Oreo Fleet, Capital has Oreo Fleet coming back after that tough loss last week, but myself and Bowsy both see Space Created taking that one. But this match is interesting, and the reason why I wanted to skip it is Redacted versus Alta 4. Everybody has 4-0 for Redacted. Now, I think Redacted is the big favorite coming into this, and Hammerhead's the big favorite over Poseidon. So as a reminder, Hammerhead started this pool 0-3. Alta 4 started this pool 2-0. If these results happen as predicted, Hammerhead gets ahead of Alta 4 in the standings because of map differential, and Hammerhead moves into Group B for Stage 2, while Alta 4 is destined for the elimination pool in a hell of a twist. I certainly did not expect that.
Welcome to March Madness.
This is the wild stuff. I mean, what it comes down to, if we're really looking at the most competitive matchup here, it's Oreo Fleet versus Space Created. Space Created, they've been consistent all stage. Oreo Fleet showed a massive hole in the armor last week. So I don't know, Bowsy. It could go either way.
Yeah, definitely. And also I am aware 30 minutes has passed, which means my internet has decided to go a little bit crappy, but I think it should still be fine because I think I saw the VOD yesterday and it didn't work. It didn't do too badly, but college internet's bad. Please invest in better internet.
It's great for me.
Not for me, not for streaming. This has happened every time on campus, but I mean, definitely interesting matches across the board. And if you would have told me back in the week 4 show of this, that Hammerhead would be going into week 5 with a chance of getting into B group, I would have thought you were crazy. I would have thought your crystal ball was broken. But Here we are, Hammerhead getting that big upset last week in a shocker, and now recruiting the ringer that they had to bring on for that match for this week. Hammerhead now are scary, and honestly, I could see this them definitely going over there. Also want to make note, Alta 4 only have 2 wins this season. Both were in map 5s against Poseidon and Hammerhead. They have not taken a map off of Oreo Fleet and Space Created, which were their other 2. That's, I think, why we all chose Redacted to win that match, because when it comes to a top team, Redacted seem to really be in that top area right now, considering that they got reverse swept by both Space Created and Alta 4 and have 4-0'd everyone else since. So there's a lot of situations that can play into Indigo B this week, and honestly, I'm all for it. I'm all for the chaos, and I'm all to see what happens in that group. Anything can happen, and everything's on the line. But now we're going to be transcending up to the last tier in our groupings, and that's Transcendence RMA. And by the way, whoever said in the chat that the stream would start lagging once we get to Transcendence, you know who you are. You're to blame for this. Speaking of that, Capital, you're to blame for this. Take it away with Transcendence RMA.
RMA, the pool of 5 teams. I mean, Epizix versus Reckless Sigma. Great match, started off 4-0 versus 3-1. Epizix has looked great throughout the season. Reckless Sigma, honestly, been really quiet, but really good. I think we all have Epizix in this one. Dowsy with the clean 4-0 sweep. Me and Yeti giving a map to Reckless Sigma. I honestly almost went 3-2 Reckless Sigma, but I think Epizix definitely has the mentality and the metal, the clutch gene in them if it comes down to it. But I think Epizix is just a cleaner team. I think they're like a top 3 team, unarguably, top 1 arguably right now in trans tier, and I mean it showed that they're undefeated so far. The rest of this pool, aka the other game, which is I believe Swarm Hornets versus Vengeance.
Correct.
And I mean, we all have, or you two have Swarm Hornets 3-1, and I have Vengeance today 3-0. I believe there will be a tie.
Yeah, I saw that draw.
Hey, I need the points because I missed a week, or 2 or 3. I need the points.
I will give you credit. Last week there were 5 draws.
Hey, so who's predicted a draw so far? You're going to tell me this week there are going to be no draws?
There has been another person on this show that has predicted a draw, and you're not the first. So
yeah. I'm just saying that there's been no draws predicted this week yet, and you're going to tell me there's going to be no draws the whole week? Come on.
Fair.
But
so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and the Battalion gets the bye.
Yeah, and Battalion gets a bye, so they don't have to worry about any sort of matches this week. But yeah, now I'm going to be honest. I am a Reckless Org stan. I stan the Reckless Org. I love the Reckless Org. But they got 4-0'd by Battalion. We lost 3-2 to Epizeuxis. So in that comparison, Reckless lose to Epizooks 4-0. That's the thought process I'm going into it for. I think it's going to be interesting, though, if Reckless Sigma do take maps. I can definitely see them taking maps off of Epizooxis, but it will definitely be interesting if they're able to do that. But now we head into Transcendence RMB. And last week, this pool looked very disappointing. You know, we only had one match in this pool. The other two had buys, but we get a very interesting situation this week where we actually have two matches. Starting off with our first match, Devil Dukes versus Insidious, two undefeated teams trying to get themselves a perfect stage number one. Me and Mr. Yeti in favor of the Devil Dukes, 4-0 and 3-1 respectively. Capital favoring Insidious, however, in a very interesting pick. And then the second match happening here, Thoringer Bad versus Maelstrom. Me and Mr. Yeti again going for Thoringer Bad this time, 3-1 and 4-0 respectively. But again, Capital, a very interesting upset saying Maelstrom will win 3-1. And then, of course, our final match, which is the most interesting one in this group. It's Bye versus Bye. Someone's getting a win. We don't know who, but it'll be interesting to see how that match turns out. But Capital going against everybody and going against pretty much almost everybody here with Insidious and Maelstrom winning this week. Explain.
Yeah, I mean, need a little bit of spice. I'm gonna be honest here. Devil Dukes versus Insidious, I think it's a lot closer than what people are saying. 4-0 seems a bit brash. It's not Devil Dukes of old. Let's be honest here, guys. Oh, I've said the name like 8 times. That's like a lot more than allowed on air. Insidious though, great team. I love Insidious. And I think they have the cojones to take down the DD. And then in the other matchup, Thoringer Bad versus Maelstrom, I mean, both these teams are looking for their first real win. So like, I'm going Maelstrom here. I think their play, from what I've seen at least, looks a lot cleaner. I think Thoringer Bad definitely has like a lot of strong pieces as well. I think Insidious and Devil Duke kind of just like put them down in a hole where they really shouldn't have been. I think these are both still good B pool teams. And as they go into trans tier stage 2, I think they'll both do well. I think they're pretty even, but I'm taking Maelstrom here. I'm taking this unknown factor. We know what Thoringer Bad brings to the table. Let's see what Maelstrom has to give.
Yeah, okay, definitely interesting. And honestly, I hate to admit that you're right here. Thoringer Bad or Maelstrom looking for their first actual win at this stage. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top with that. But now we're done with NA Trans RMB. Now it's time to move into the Indigo side of things. Mr. Yeti, take it away with NA Trans Indigo A.
Indigo A, again, this is the group without a lot of buys and forfeits, thank God. But we have S8W5 versus Zeus. Zeus predicted with the big old 4-0 across the board. Speaking of 4-0s across the board, Billings Boomers taking on Danger Close. That's going to be, again, 4-0 for the Billings Boomers, according to every single person on the cast. And speaking of 4-0s, just in case you were bored, Carnage against Meraki, couple of 4-0s. Capital, you are the one dissenter this entire time. It appears to be a trend. But we have 3-1 from Capital in favor of Carnage. This group appears to be very cut and dry, Bowsy.
It does. And also, Capital, I'm going to give the benefit of a doubt here for you for your Meraki pick, because if I look at Meraki's sort of scores here, I mean, they have taken some maps. They drawed with Zeus, who is arguably the second best team in this group, so I can give you that sort of credit. Apart from Billings Boomers, of course. Zeus is definitely one of the better teams in this group. But I feel like we all kind of selected the same thing. I still remember last week when people started thinking about Danger Close a little bit more, and I was questioning why, and now we seem to all get that sort of viewpoint that Danger Close might not have a chance against the Billings Boomers. No offense, Danger Close. I love your logo. I remember your team from back in 2019 or 2020, but you haven't been good this season. Your best chance of winning was up against Meraki, and even you lost that match. So it's going to be interesting, but yeah, these sort of series also will be close. And also, I was going to say again, the Meraki pick winning a map does make sense. Carnage have not 4-0'd a team since week number 1.
I also really like Meraki. Just want to put that out there. I love the logo, but like the support lineup specifically, love it. Great support lineup.
Valid point. Valid point. So it's going to be interesting to see how those two teams fared out. But now it's time to close out the rest of the group here with NA, Transcendence, Indigo B, Capital. End it off.
Yeah, and to end off this, we have the Decapitators versus Rat Society. Decapitators, we all have winning 4-0. I mean, they look strong right now. No bias, of course, from Yeti and I, but they do look really strong right now. And then following up, I'm going to skip this one, but then go to the next one. Reckless Arcadia versus Kent State Esports. We all have 4-0 for Reckless Arcadia. Reckless Arcadia also looks great right now. And then probably the match of the week, like for this pool at least, would be Uzumaki versus Puerto Rico. Both of these teams have had all their games, I think, are pretty close. I think these are pretty evenly matched, but Yeti has a 4-0 in favor of Uzumaki. Bowsy with a 3-1 in favor of Uzumaki, and I have a 3-2 in favor of Uzumaki. So we all do have Uzumaki winning, but in different scorelines.
Yeah, Uzumaki, definitely interesting. They did get reverse swept last week against Reckless Arcadia, but I still feel like they are a top 8 team. Puerto Rico, however, is a very unpredictable team. These were the Map 5 Giants back in the preseason. This team was known for bringing people to Map 5 every single time and always clutching it out. So I would not be surprised if Puerto Rico brought Uzumaki to Map 5 because that could be very interesting. Also, hey, Rat Society, don't try to call me out in the Discord for predicting against you when you're going up against one of the best teams in Transcendence tier this week. If you win this match, I will literally eat my shorts.
Can you record that? Can you record you eating your shorts?
Maybe during event week.
Yeah. So Decapitators, can you throw so we have to have Bowsy eat his shorts?
Nagi, I know you're in the chat.
I think that you guys already have A pool locked up. I'm pretty sure. Just throw a bit. Let Rat Society get their dub and let Bowsy eat some shorts. Maybe we'll send you some ranch. I hate ranch. No. We'll send you some ranch to eat shorts with. I think it tastes great.
No. I'm stopping this conversation here. This is my show. This is my move. But that is it. That's all 40 matches, 81 teams in Tranquility Gaming, all covered up. Definitely going to be interesting to see how these evolve and how these matches really go here. But now, of course, we have to go over to our big thing that we have to cover this week, which is the score lines. But before we do that, I believe we did get a donation in because I think that number is a little bit higher. Yes, we did. Jonesy from Galactic Penguins donated $100 to, to Project Hope. Thank you, Jonesy, for donating $100. Your donation is going to an amazing cause. But now we're getting into the scores of this week. And they were, after week 3, interesting to say the least. And I'll start off by saying, I already said this in the Discord server, but the feature match for Discord tier, 0% of everybody who predicted that match got it correct.
That game was so fun.
It was a fun match, and it was an upset nobody saw coming. So just think about that. And then think about the scores this week and how they're going to be affected. We start off with the top 5 community, the content creator scores here. Starting off with our fourth place people. That's right. We had a tie for 4th place again between me and Mr. Yeti with 65 points each. Next up in 3rd place is Trade with 68 points.
The prophet himself.
In 2nd place, scoring for the first time this year, a nice 69 points is Apathy.
Nice.
Makes perfect sense.
And in 1st place, for the 3rd week in a row, it's PDK with 70 points.
How?
I don't know.
Goat. Young goat. Eminem lookalike. God.
How is this guy getting first all these times? You can't let this happen, guys.
No, I'm not trying to.
We're not trying to, but it just keeps happening. But you know what they say. You know what they say. It happens. But now, of course, we have to go into our overall week 4 scores for the entire Tranquility community. In 5th place, for the 2nd time in a row, again, we have a tie for 3rd place between Greninja and Choi Su-won with 65 points each.
Joy!
In 4th place is Train with 68 points. In 3rd place, I think you can see where this is going, is Apathy with 69 points. And a tie for 1st place this week again. We already knew PDK was 1st place, but tying with him is also Cry with 70 points.
Cry's really good at this. I'm going to be honest.
Cosmic Castaways taking away a lot of week 4 this week. Definitely a really interesting scoreline there. Yeah, definitely. Wow. And of course, now it's time to finish it out with our overall top 5 community members. This is of all time in Tranquility Gaming this season. In 4th place, we have another tie again. Why are there so many ties in these positions? In 4th place, with 232 points each, are myself and Hayes. In 3rd place is Toxic with 242 points. In 2nd place is Cry with 253 points. And I think we can all assume at this point who 1st place is.
Yeah, but still.
It's me.
Yeah. No, it's not Capital. I'm pretty sure you are nowhere near 1st place.
I don't think I predicted all the weeks.
You definitely haven't. But it's PDK again with 257 points. I think we're all disappointed in ourselves. We're disappointed in ourselves, but more so, we're disappointed in everything that's happened this week. Thank you to all 5 teams that drawed your matches last week because you let this happen.
Exactly.
You're
It's
all
their
to blame.
fault.
All 10 of you that let that happen.
CLT Spuds is 3 points. It's like a 3-1. Just lock it in.
Not all the time. But that is going to do it here for our show. Any last comments from our 2 analysts before I bring it into our closing announcements?
Yeti needs to sleep.
Hashtag beat PDK. That's all I'm saying.
Please be PDK.
Are you beating a minor, Yeti?
Not in that sense, Capital.
Damn it, Capital.
Not
It's just
again.
appointed you. You just got voted into the Hall of Fame, damn it.
Yeti, I thought you hated kids.
Revoke him.
I hate certain people. I'll give you a guess.
We all do. But that is going to do it for our show. Announcements, of course, we have all our matches happening this week. Tomorrow at 8:30 GMT or 3:30 EDT is our EU Harmony tier feature match between EU Scrimbucks and Snubble Gold, the preseason finalists, taking on a team still looking for a big win this season, trying to bring themselves into a higher pool. It's going to be interesting. That later that night, stay tuned because on Tuesday at 8:30 EDT, we have our Harmony tier North American feature match between Steam and Frost Nova, which obviously Steam, the only team to draw more than one map this season, looking to try and bring a win against Frost Nova. Be interesting to watch. Then on Wednesday, we have our Transcendence tier feature match at 9:30 EDT between Decapitators and Rat Society. Another interesting match. We all predicted 4-0, of course, for Decapitators, but it'll be interesting to see how Decap bringing out the season and if the Rat Society can make an upset. And then on Thursday, we have at 8:30 EDT our Discord tier feature match. Right now, it's said to be Space Creative versus Oreo Fleet, but I don't know if that is changing anytime soon, considering I don't know if those teams have locked it in yet. Any confirmation from Yeti?
Confirmed yet.
Okay, no, not confirmed, but we'll try to get a match in there for Discord tier. And of course, after the broadcast, we of course have the beat drop after the Discord tier broadcast, assuming it happens. So we're going to be having a great time interviewing more members of the Tranquility gaming community. And also, as a note, next week, there will be no Predicting Tranquility as we are going to be celebrating the event week with the content creator 1v1s. Make sure you stay tuned to that. We will be returning in week 7 with the results of week 5 and looking into stage number 2. It's definitely going to be interesting, and it's definitely going to be an amazing week to watch, and it's going to be a lot on the line there. But for everybody here in the booth, including Capital and Mr. Yeti, my name has been Bowsy. We hope you've enjoyed watching Predicting Tranquility this week. Until we meet again, we hope you have an amazing night.